I ask that you please watch this entire video. I think this is an important topic that more people should be aware of. I have put timestamps in the description so you can skip the intro or go to certain situations if you would prefer. While I will speak specifically about the book industry in this video, I will give 2 examples outside of the book industry in which Amazon has violated antitrust laws. I have also linked the ABA's white paper document in my description, and I encourage you to read it in full, as I will not go over the entire thing in this video. But I will highlight what I think are some of the bigger points. This video actually kind of sucks to make because I do like Audible, and I thought if there's anyone who will ever sponsor this channel, it would probably be Audible because I nonstop talk about audiobooks. This all started a few weeks ago when I was looking for the Scythe series at my library. I have 2 libraries through the Libby app, so I have some extra options as far as audiobooks. But I couldn't find the audiobook, which seemed strange because they seemed like pretty popular books. Again, I looked for Shadow and Bone because it had been on my list for a while and the new Netflix show was about to come out, and I wanted to read the first book before I watched it. Again, it seemed strange I couldn't find the audiobook because it's a popular book. Then I realized they were both Audible exclusives. I was kind of upset. So what? Audible exclusives don't go to libraries? Yeah. And I realize I'm a little late to this conversation. Especially while doing research, I realized this has been a conversation for many years. Hank Green tweeted about it in 2019, and that wasn't even the first time anyone talked about it. There are articles upon articles that have been written before that. Let's just get this out of the way, just so everyone's clear. What is an Audible exclusive? This means that no bookstores, libraries, and schools can get the audiobook if they aren't affiliated with Amazon/Audible. So if you can't afford Audible, you're shit out of luck. Sometimes other audio editions are available, and after a certain amount of time, the audiobook can be more widely distributed, but from what I've seen, that's rare. And unlike movies, TV shows, video games, I've noticed it's significantly harder to pirate audiobooks. I also want to make it clear I don't want to necessarily fault the authors who choose this. I'm sure, especially to new authors or authors who aren't as popular, deals like this are very exciting. However, there are some bigger authors that I'm a little disappointed in. So why Audible exclusives? I want to read a quote from the article The Problem with Exclusives by Caitlin March. Essentially, what they have done is cut out the middleman. By creating and distributing their own product, they don't have to split their profits as many ways. On the surface, it's a savvy business model. More profit means they're able to offer higher royalties to publishers and authors, which entices more and bigger titles to be sold as Audible exclusive. It's something many businesses would aspire to. But the difference here is that Audible is so massive, the middleman they're cutting out is the rest of the book industry. Amazon is monopolizing the audiobook industry. Well, they're trying. I've been using audiobooks since I was a kid. I've talked about this before, but I read all the available children's audiobooks in my small town library, and when I wanted to branch out, Audible was actually my only option. Me and my mom would have long talks about it because I wanted to keep reading, but the average book was $20. Now with Libby, it's a lot easier. But when Audible makes themselves the most big, visible audiobook provider, you don't feel like you have as many options. And that's Amazon's plan, not with just the book industry, but with every product they sell, to limit your options. So while researching what I imagined would be a short video about how harmful Audible exclusives are, it turned into a video on the crappy way Amazon has been taking over the book industry for 10 plus years. On March 10th, 2021, the American Book Association released a white paper document titled American Monopoly, Amazon's Anti-Competitive Behavior is in Violation of Antitrust Laws. And I'm going to go over it. Before we get into the white paper document, I do want to quickly go over what a white paper document is and what is considered an illegal monopoly. According to Investopedia, a white paper is an informational document usually issued by a company or nonprofit organization to promote or highlight the features of a solution, product, or service that it offers or plans to offer. White papers are also used as a method of presenting government policies and legislation and gauging public reaction. While brochures and other marketing materials might be flashy and include obvious sales pitches, a white paper is intended to provide persuasive and factual/technical evidence that a particular offering is a superior method of solving a problem or challenge. In general, white papers are at least 2,500 words in length and are typically written in an academic style. I will leave this linked in the description in case you want to know more. As far as illegal monopolies go, a monopoly is when a company has exclusive control over a good or service in a particular market. Not all monopolies are illegal. For example, businesses might legally corner their market if they produce a superior product or are well managed. Antitrust law doesn't penalize successful companies just for being successful. Competitors may be at a legitimate disadvantage if their product or service is inferior to the monopolists. But monopolies are illegal if they are established or maintained through improper conduct, such as exclusionary or predatory acts. This is known as anti-competitive monopolization. Spoiler alert, Amazon does some predatory shit. Here are some examples of how illegal monopolies unfairly exploit their market power. Price discrimination, selling similar goods to a buyer at different prices. Exclusive dealings, requiring a buyer or seller to do, buy, or sell all or most of a certain product from a single supplier. Tying contract, selling a product or service on the condition that the buyer agrees to also buy a different product or service. So that's just a little information on all of that. I'm going to read through the introduction in full because it just explains exactly what the complaints are. The American Bookseller Association submits this brief in support of its claims that Amazon.com Inc. has used exclusionary, anti-competitive pricing schemes to gain market power and illegally monopolize the e-commerce retail market, specifically the first-party online retail market, the third-party e-commerce marketplace market, the web service market, and the third-party logistics service market. I'm going to put a brief explanation of what all these things are on the screen right now so you can pause and read them if you are like me and didn't know what all those terms meant until now. Section 2 is the parties. This part talks about the ABA, who they are, what they do, and Amazon, who they are, what they do. So briefly, let's talk about the ABA for anyone who doesn't know. The ABA was founded in 1900. This is a not-for-profit organization that helps independently owned bookstores grow and succeed. To assist its members, the association provides education, information dissemination, business products, and services, creates relevant programs, and engages in public policy, industry, and local first advocacy. So while this whole Amazon thing is bigger than Audible Exclusives, you can guess why maybe the ABA would care about stuff like this. Amazon, on the other hand, was founded in 1994 as an online bookstore. Since then, it has grown into what we see today. They sell all kinds of shit. They have a movie streaming platform, a music streaming platform, etc. And as of November 2020, has a market cap of $1.6 trillion. Section 3, Amazon's market power in e-commerce retail market. So this is when we really start to get into the shit. Amazon controls 38% of the e-commerce retail market. Some estimate Amazon's share could be 50% or higher, which amounts to more than Amazon's top 3 competitors combined. eBay at an estimated 6.6%, Apple at an estimated 3.9%, and Walmart at an estimated 3.7%. More than 60% of the online shopping product searches begin on Amazon. So they have indeed monopolized the e-commerce retail market. It then goes on to explain that Amazon Web Service is responsible for 33% of the cloud computing market, which again is more than Amazon's top 3 competitors combined. And according to Armstrong & Associates, a third-party logistics market research and consulting company, Amazon controls 60% of the U.S. e-commerce third-party logistics market. Section A, first-party online retail. The first-party retail market is a submarket of the e-commerce retail market. It refers to sales on Amazon, where Amazon itself serves as the seller either by selling its own private label products, such as Amazon Basics, or reselling inventory that a retailer or wholesaler has sold to Amazon. When a retailer or wholesaler has sold its inventory to Amazon, Amazon is in control of the pricing, and the product listing is designated as ships from and sold by Amazon. Amazon's first-party retail market covers a wide range of industries. This section focuses on Amazon's anti-competitive conduct in the online shopping sites and services submarket, and the online apparel and accessories submarket. It cannot and is not intended to capture the full extent of Amazon's anti-competitive conduct in all of the industries that it occupies. Subsection 1. Online bookselling submarket. This is kind of the main section I want to focus on, as this video is about books, but I am going to go over two situations that have nothing to do with books, just so you get a good feel for the kind of shady, slimy business tactics that are going on. It then goes on to explain, Amazon controls 42% of all sales of physical books, an estimated 75% of online sales of physical books. Amazon controls 83% of ebook sales, more than 40% of new book sales, and about 85% of sales by self-published ebook authors. Then they offer, for comparison, Amazon's share of the online bookselling submarket is as large as Standard Oil's before it was dismantled into 34 companies in 1911. Nowhere is Amazon's conduct more of a threat to the competitive process than in the online bookselling submarket. The next paragraph talks about Amazon's exclusionary tactics and predatory pricing in order to gain market power over publishers unfairly. In 2015, Authors United sent a letter to Assistant Attorney General William J. Baer that showed how Amazon's, quote, dominance in abusive practices led to consolidation in the publishing industry. Amazon sold books at cost or at a loss to establish a greater market share, which means Amazon sold books for exactly what they cost to make, or losing money themselves just in order to look better. If we go back to what we learned about antitrust laws, this is price discrimination. This is shady behavior, purposefully losing money to establish themselves in the online market. Again, I'm sorry if it's annoying that I am mostly just quoting the document directly, but that is the best way to present this evidence, so I'm going to read a full snippet of the 2015 letter. Amazon has sold tens or possibly hundreds of millions of physical books at or below cost. The practice became more extensive in 2007 when Amazon used its then 90% share of the e-book market to dictate to publishers when to release a particular book in electronic form, i.e., the day of publication, and to impose a one-price-fits-all $9.99 sticker on all ebooks, no matter how much authors and publishers had invested in those books. For years after the introduction of the Kindle, Amazon paid publishers $12 to $14 for new ebooks it sold at a loss for $9.99. This strategy worked very well for Amazon, which sold millions of Kindle devices and added many customers to its Amazon Prime program. And on the surface, it would seem to have worked well for consumers who paid less per book. But this strategy badly damaged publishing industries by driving down the price consumers were willing to pay for new books, hence reducing the amount of revenue available for publishers to invest in new books. This, over time, also harmed readers. Basically, with such a monopoly and power, Amazon could force authors to publish with them. What the heck? What the heck? Then they quote technology attorney Bob Cohen in an interview with CNBC in 2014. When Amazon has 90% of the market and you go to authors, even self-published ones, and say, we don't want to pay more, where are you going to get your book published? If Amazon has 90% share, there is nowhere else to go. In the same Authors United letter, they explain how Amazon leverages its power to get arbitrary and unexpected fees from publishers. And they have no choice but to pay the fees that pop up out of nowhere, or they will slow down or stop the sale of their books. In 2014, there was a well-publicized fight over ebook terms. The Hatchet book group and Amazon had a disagreement on terms, and Amazon delayed the fulfillment of customer orders of bigger books from Hatchet book group in order to get what they wanted. This is crazy. When most popular books shipped in 2 days, Amazon was taking up to 3 weeks to fulfill orders. That is all that is mentioned in the white paper document, but I did some research of my own into this. The dispute started when Hatchet Book Group's contract with Amazon was up, and Amazon wanted to sign them again, but this time they wanted HBG to lower most of the ebook prices to, can you guess which number? $9.99. Where does that number sound familiar? Oh, right, in the Authors United letter. This would be selling the ebooks at cost or at a loss. Hatchet Book Group did not respond. So Amazon just continued their current contract and instead started delaying the fulfillment of HBG's books. And something the document didn't mention that I found is Amazon also removed pre-order capabilities from HBG books. Which, by the way, pre-orders are huge for the book industry. It can alert other retailers to the book, it can indicate the success of the book, and it can notify retailers if they should order more copies. HBG was a $10 million company, while Amazon was a $122 billion company. From an article written in 2014, since June, though more than 900 authors have come together to form a coalition called Authors United, denouncing Amazon for purposefully hindering Hatchet book sales and harming the livelihood of authors, their newest tactic is calling the Department of Justice to investigate Amazon's illegal monopoly tactics. Have you connected all the dots? This has been a problem since 2014, and before that, right? Like 2007, and still this white paper document from the ABA has to exist because no one has listened. Amazon has only gotten bigger and bigger and taken over more and more, and nothing has been done. Back to the document, they also mention a similar situation with Macmillan and Amazon in 2010. But doesn't give any further information. So, I had to do my own research, and I'll keep it brief. It seems similar to Hatchet Book Group in the fact that Macmillan wanted to sell ebooks at $15, and Amazon, of course, wanted to price the books at $9.99. During this dispute, Amazon removed all Macmillan books from the ebook store, went and removed any sample chapters already downloaded by a consumer, and removed all Macmillan books from wish lists. From all this research, tensions have been brewing since 2010, but probably before that, and here we still are. So I searched up where Authors United is now, and I'll link what I did find, which was their letter, which at the end has a list of authors that is so long I encourage you to go look, but includes big authors like James Patterson and Stephen King. An article was written in March of 2021 about Authors United called What's Next for Authors United? Basically, it covers the fact that Authors United has been kind of useless and only good for getting media attention, which, considering the fact that me and most people I asked about this had little to no idea what was going on, they didn't do very well at that either. In this article, David, I'm so sorry, buddy, I cannot pronounce your last name because I'm dumb, lists a few things Authors United could be doing better, such as actually helping the little authors, helping people of color, as the leaders of this group are white and male. Just some really good suggestions that Authors United should be working on. He ends by saying there is an impression out there that Authors United is an out-of-touch, elitist, entitled group that doesn't genuinely care for the plight of writers, and is reflexively defending publishers because the current system has been very good to the small circle leading the group. Full disclosure, that's an impression I hold. I have said all those things and believe them too. But maybe that impression is incorrect. Maybe it's unfair when people, like me, paint you as a pro-publisher organization. Prove me wrong. Take up any of these issues, preferably all of them. Use your extensive media contacts to actually make things better for the average writer, who have proven that you have the power to get widespread media attention. Maybe it's time to use that power to do something useful. So this brings us to the last paragraph in section A1. Amazon's anti-competitive conduct extends to the pricing of its proprietary ebook reader and tablet, the Kindle and Fire, which are loss leaders, meaning products priced at or below cost to stimulate the sale of more profitable goods or services. Amazon's intent is to leave consumers with no alternative but to purchase ebooks and other products from Amazon rather than its competitors, regardless of price. I have some stuff to say. This is why this needs to be brought up to legislators, because We are all under Amazon's thumb, whether we realize it or not. And while I know with money comes political power, and most likely the government is also under Amazon's thumb, it doesn't mean it should be that way. And again, here we are with more problems because the government doesn't want to do what it's actually supposed to do because money is at stake. Section A2, Online Shopping Sites and Services. In 2010, Amazon tried to acquisition an e-commerce website called Quidsi, which ran many websites, but a big one was diapers.com. When they declined, Amazon slashed the price of their diaper products and started something called Amazon Mom, which made delivery of baby products quick and cheap. Quidsi was actually able to find out Amazon was using a price software monitor that would change Amazon's prices in order to undersell accordingly depending on Quidsi's prices. Basically, after a little bit, Quidsi wasn't having any growth and investors didn't know if they could continue, so Quidsi had no choice but to sign the Amazon contract. Oh, and after Quidsi signed their contract, Amazon raised its prices on baby products significantly. They purposefully ran them out of business and sold items at a loss to strong-arm Quidsi into signing their contract. Section A3, Online Apparel and Accessories Submarket. By temporarily lowering prices to outcompete competitors, Amazon possesses a threat not only to the targets it wishes to acquire, but to the competitive process as a whole. Once Amazon acquires a competitor, it can raise prices on the product knowing that there are no serious competitors, resulting in a product that is less affordable for consumers due to lack of competition. Basically, what they did to Quidsi, they do to a lot of other companies all the time, and a great example is what they did to Zappos. One notable example is Amazon's acquisition of the online shoe retailer Zappos. Between 2004 and 2007, Amazon offered to purchase Zappos as Zappos grew in popularity. After Zappos declined to sell, Amazon debuted a competing shoe retailer called Endless.com. Endless.com started selling shoes at a loss, providing free overnight shipping and offering a $5 rebate on every purchase. In an effort to compete with Amazon's new offering, Zappos attempted to match Amazon's shipping and started to lose money on every pair of shoes sold. In 2009, the Zappos board finally gave in to Amazon's predatory conduct and voted to sell the company to Amazon. Amazon lost $150 million and it's campaigning against Zappos. I don't feel like I have to continue for the next 10 pages to list all of the shitty things Amazon has done. I truly believe the things I've already talked about are enough, and there is independent articles and reports all over the internet about all of these cases. Again, I encourage everyone to read the full white paper document. There's a lot of important information, and I cannot be solely responsible for explaining each section to you. The best way I can wrap this up is Amazon is not afraid to lose money to take others down and make themselves the only option for everything. They have an illegal monopoly and break antitrust laws regularly. They have not been punished or held responsible, most likely because they are so rich and powerful, thus Amazon has its own place in politics. I hope some of you out there can make some sense of all of this, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm in my numb, hopeless phase of this situation. We will be making more fun videos soon, but that was all put on hold when I got really deep into this, and I didn't even go as deep as I could have. So I'll leave you with one more paragraph. Even in cases where Amazon has not forcibly acquired apparel or accessory company, Amazon still uses its market power to force businesses into compliance with its demands. David Barnett, CEO of PopSockets, a phone accessory company, has been outspoken about the company's first-party selling relationship with Amazon. In a January 2020 House Judiciary Antitrust Subcommittee hearing, Barnett stated, "One of the strangest relationships I've had with a retailer is with Amazon. The agreement appears to be negotiated in good faith, but what happens is there are phone calls where we get bullying with a smile." I'm Clever Hans, and I guess that's it.